God bless you, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Light Up series. Today, I will be talking about the good in going through, and how the word lets us know that not just some of us, not just one of us, but all of us, all of the saints of God, all the believers of God are going through something. Many of us are going through, and many of us have even gone through the exact same thing over and over and over because we didn't see the good in it. And because we didn't see the good of it, we didn't receive what the Lord intended for us to receive. Because in every trial and tribulation that's ordained by the Lord, there's a purpose to it. So one of the things that I discovered was that in our trials and tribulations, the Lord's goal is for us to mature. The Lord is working it out in us, that as we're going through that painful thing, as we're going through trials and tribulations on our job, as we're having troubles in our families, as we're having troubles in our day-to-day life, those situations that are ordained by God are here to mature us in our faith and mature us in our spiritual man. That as we go through, that we may be able to truly take on the perspective that James talks to the saints about in James chapter 1. And he tells them to count it all joy. Not saying to discount the pain that it feels. Not saying to forget about or to act as if it's not painful and it's not uncomfortable. Because we witness when Jesus is in the Garden of Gethsemane, we get to see how that actually looks. So he knew the pain was real. He spoke about the pain with the Lord, but he sought the Lord, that the Lord's perspective may dominate how his flesh was feeling. That may dominate the pain that he felt in the midst of that trial. So that's what we do when we count it all joy. We take off our goggles of the pain. We take off our goggles of our limited perspective, and we put on the goggles of the Lord. And we say, because I'm looking at this from the Lord's perspective, I see the benefit in it. So now I can look beyond the pain. I can look beyond the situation and decide to focus on the why. Why am I going through this? Why exactly does the Lord see fit to put me through the situation? Well, number one, he believes that you can believe. He knows that you can bear it. Not just that he believes, but he knows that you can bear it. And he will not push you to past your limit. Whenever it gets too hard, just know that the Lord will be there to pick you up. He will be there to pull you out, to make sure that you don't go beyond that point. Number two, he wants to grow you. He wants you to progress. The Lord is always moving. And because we are his people, he desires for us to move as well. He never wants us stagnant. He never wants us stuck in the same place. He never wants us to get comfortable. Because what happens in our life is that we receive his blessings. We receive these lavish lives. We receive these lavish jobs. We have these lavish expenses that we're spending our money on. We just have all of this great stuff in life that begins to make us comfortable. And in that comfortability, we begin to get stagnant. We don't think that there's much more to do. We don't think there's much higher to go. But the Lord brings these trials and tribulations to uproot us, because there's nothing else in life. Because the happy things that we're going through, they make us comfortable. But this makes us uncomfortable and makes us take a second look at what we thought was just enough. And reminds us that it's not enough. It reminds us that we need the Lord. It reminds us that we want to grow, and reminds us that we need to grow. Not just that we want to grow, but reminds us that we need to grow in the Lord, because he's working it out in us. The word lets us know that the work he started in us, he's going to work to fulfill it and complete it till Jesus Christ returns. So because he's working it out in us, these trials and tribulations is a part of that process. So we just got to trust his process. Trust his process that you may spiritually mature. I just remember times when I had moments of test of my faith, and my belief in the Lord truly changing me, and the Lord truly shifting me from what I knew before. Because I've always been a loudmouth. I've always been slick when I talk. I just come from a family of people that we can annihilate you with just our words. We don't need to fight you. You'll be wanting to fight us, but we can just annihilate you with with our words. And I just had some moments in my life where the Lord began to humble me, that he began to literally grab my tongue and cause me to shut up. Those trials and tribulations, those were moments that were tough for me, because I've always been quick on my feet when it comes to responding to people. I didn't think about it. I didn't care how they felt about it. I didn't apologize for it. But the Lord began to deal with me in it, and I began to grow and mature. My spiritual man began to rise up in those situations where I, William, wanted to go off, where William wanted to curse people out, where William wanted to do such and such and retaliate. The Spirit began to remind me that my anger, that my seeking of revenge doesn't produce the righteousness of God. It doesn't bring forth what the Lord desires for me. So we need that spiritual maturity. It helps us, it leads us, it guides us, it helps us to be better, it helps us to be stronger, and it just keeps us in tune with the Lord, that we may continue to think the way he desires for us to think, that we may begin to be motivated and intentional the way that he desires us to be, that we may love the way he loves, that we may talk the way he talks. So we just need that today. Aside from our spiritual maturity, the Lord also desires for us to learn his laws and his righteousness. And our trials and tribulations are perfect opportunities for us to truly realign ourselves, for us to refocus ourselves, to realize what it is that means the most in our life. Again, when we're blessed, when we're not going through anything and we're just living comfortably in our normal routine in our normal lives, we don't get to see how much we need the Lord, because we've become secure in our finances. We've become secure in our big houses. So when we go through these trials, it just helps us to realign. It helps us to refocus on what the law of the Lord says. What does the word say for us to do? What is the Lord commanding us to do? What does it mean to truly live righteously? But the word lets us know that these afflictions allows us to refocus, allows us to produce the fruits of righteousness. And that's what we want. That's what the Lord desires for us. So that's just one of those benefits, that it's like, this is important. This is important. And if the trials are going to do this for me and no other thing can, then Lord, I just say yes. I say yes to the trials and tribulations. I say yes to the pain and the hurt. If that draws me closer to you, if that brings me closer to you, if that helps me to understand you and your law and your purpose and your righteousness for my life, then you know what? So be it. Because the temporary pain here on earth can't even compare to the great, great, great glory that will be revealed when Jesus returns. And that I'm excited for. So again, just focusing on the why. The end game is, I want to see Jesus. I want to live eternally. That is what I desire. And because I desire that, I have to do what it takes. We're willing to do everything else. We're willing to do what it takes with everything else. But when it comes to the Lord, some of us are afraid. We're willing to draw back, but the Lord wants us to lean in. Take heed to his instruction. Take heed to the things that he allows in our lives. Another thing is, trials and tribulations come to test our faith and to prove our faith. So we are a people who talk all day. We talk about how much faith we have. I believe the Lord for this. I got faith that the Lord would do this and he's going to do that. But these trials and tribulations come to remind us exactly the faith that we have. So how we respond to our trials and our tribulations tell us exactly how much faith we actually have. So if you're not a person who can truly count this situation as joy, you might want to recenter your focus. You may want to seek the Lord and seek his wisdom. Ask him how to go through. Just ask the Lord, Lord, show me how to go through. Show me how to hang in there until your purpose for me in the midst of this trial is fulfilled. But many of us do not know the kind of faith we have until a situation comes that requires us to have the faith that we need. So I just encourage you We're people. We're people of results. And we can trust and believe that these trials and these tribulations, these tests that are coming to test our faith, that are coming to prove our faith, they will produce fruitful results if we just would be willing to endure. The Lord just wants us to hang in there. The Lord wants us to just hold on. He wants us to trust him, to trust his process, to trust his motives and his intentions. If we say we believe the Lord, then we have to believe him fully, wholly. If we quote the scripture that says, all things work for the good of those that are called according to his purpose, then we have to believe that that includes the bad stuff. That includes the stuff that we don't like. That includes the stuff that we don't think means anything. It includes all of those things. The Lord can use anything. He can use everything. He can use everyone to benefit his people. So we just have to trust that that includes these trials and these tribulations. We just have to trust that there is good in going through. And the moment we realize that is when we can begin to experience trials and tribulations in a totally different way. So just allow these situations to happen. Allow them to happen, that they may prove your faith, that they may test your faith, that they may mature you, and that they may help you know the laws of the Lord and produce his righteousness, because we so desperately need more righteous people in our world. We so desperately need a you in our world. We so desperately need people who love the Lord, who serve the Lord no matter what, who are consistent, who are faithful to the Lord no matter what, no matter the trials and tribulations that come up. We need people who are faithful, who stick to the Lord beyond what the world thinks they should, beyond what people believe about them and what people say about them. And so, again, just be encouraged. Trust that there is good in going through. Trust that the Lord is molding you and making you into exactly what he desires and exactly what you need. But it's going to take some trials. It's going to take some going through. It's going to take some hurt and some pain, some tears, some sleepless nights. It's going to take that. Anything worth having is worth fighting for. So just trust the Lord. Trust his instinct. Trust his intent. Trust his motive. And watch your faith grow. Watch your spiritual man grow. Watch your life be proof of his righteousness and of his love and of his grace and of his mercy. And just be blessed. There is good in going through. God bless you.
My brothers and sisters, I pray that this was a blessing unto you. First Lady Clay, would you like to say anything?
Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell. Leave a comment. God bless.